Welcome to the Greatest Self podcast. I'm your host, Mia, and I am with my sidekick.
Hey, what's up? Tyreece here. How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Beside me, I have Ebony.
Yes. And we also have
My girl.
Jeremiah.
Oh, Jeremiah.
Oh, man.
My bad. I thought we was like switching off.
Hey, it's kind of difficult. This is our first time being apart, so it's like,
oh my Lord.
So
right.
Like, oh man.
We're usually together.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. We'll be reunited.
Y'all funny.
I miss your best friend.
I miss you too.
Even though we just saw each other.
I know.
I'm dead.
But we are okay.
Yes.
So we are going to get into our first topic of the episode. Our first topic today is forgiveness. So what we like to do is start off with the Google definition and our personal definition. So the Google definition of forgiveness is the action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. We are going to start off with one of our guests, whoever wants to start first. What is your definition of forgiveness?
Well, I guess I'll go first. For me, forgiveness I think it's personal because regardless of if you forgive someone or not, you're still gonna have your certain feelings towards whoever you're gonna forgive, but they're not gonna be affected. Life still goes on, and if you don't forgive that person that you're trying to forgive, it's going to haunt you and it's going to stay with you until you forgive that person. Now, when you forgive someone, doesn't mean you forget what happened. You're just forgiving them to the point where whatever happened, it doesn't hold you back in life, if that makes sense. Because I feel like life is all about getting to the next step. And if you don't forgive that person, you can't get to that next step in life because you're still in that same situation.
Okay. Great answer. Amazing answer. To our second guest.
Do you have anything to say?
I mean, I pretty much second that. I mean, I think that that's ironic because I literally just had this conversation 60 seconds ago, because I had a reading the other day and like my spiritual advisor was telling me how I have this burden basket and I need to release something. And I had to go to this person and pretty much say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, I apologize. And once I did that, it felt like this weight that was on my chest was lifted. So when I said I feel light, that was why I felt light, because I lifted that burden off my chest. So sometimes forgiveness, it's not always about the other person. Sometimes it's about yourself, giving yourself what you need. Like you need to be able to live with yourself. And I just felt like, I don't want to live with the asshole, which is she, which is me, so sometimes it's not giving, doing it for the other person. You need to do it for yourself. So
That's beautiful. Congratulations. Also, congratulations.
Yes. That's good. I like that. I tend to forget sometimes that forgiveness is not only for the other person, but it is for yourself. Knowing to, it's going to be hard to move on from the situation because, you can't really always just put your feelings to the side. And especially if you're like seeing this person a lot, if they're always coming up, and you're like always around them, you can't stop the way you feel about them. But I mean, forgiving and letting go of the situation is a good thing.
Yes, now there's two different extremes on that spectrum because it also depends on like the forgiveness and like what was committed to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can forgive and not forget. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can forgive and also get the hell on too. Like,
Yeah.
like
Right,
I
right.
forgive you, but I also choose not to be
I gotta
around
bounce.
you too. So I don't have to continuously
Right.
remember what the hell just happened. So like, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely,
Just
I
glad to
agree.
put it
I
out there.
agree.
Sure.
I agree. I agree. I think that forgiveness is also a part of growth, personal growth, because if you think about it, if our higher source or the universe or whatever you believe in can forgive us, why can't we forgive them for, just personal growth? And I agree with every single one of your answers. They were amazing responses actually.
Thank you.
But
Appreciate it.
we're going to get into the next question. When we don't forgive someone, does it hurt you or the other person?
I guess I'll go first again.
Okay.
Um,
I just like
I feel like when you don't forgive someone, it sometimes can hurt the other person. Meaning, if there is a potential relationship between you guys, whether it's a friendship, lovers, parent and child, it doesn't matter. I feel like you don't know what lies ahead if you don't forgive that person. Like, say if there's something small, say I lied about something to my mom or my dad or whatever. If they don't forgive me, or if they lied to me about something, I don't forgive them. How do I know we can move past it and develop a greater bond than what we had before? But personally, if I don't forgive them, then I'm always going to wonder how could it have been if we just squashed and whatever we had, I forgave them, and how would I be in the future? Like, you can't see what lies ahead if you're still stuck on the past. I can't move forward and see the receive blessings in the future if I'm stuck on something that happened 5, 10 years ago. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I agree to that. And that also, something that ran through my mind was that when you don't forgive, you tend to go through the same lessons. You tend to go through the same, attract the same people
Hmm.
that hurt you in a
Right.
sense. And I feel that that can be a shadow aspect that is trying to let you know that this is something that you need to heal. This is something that you need to forgive and let go. And I agree with you, Jeremiah. When you don't forgive, you're stopping your blessings and you're stopping just that higher power and that just healing for yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. I agree with the both of you. Sorry. To to reflect. When I was younger, it was harder for me to It was harder. It was hard for me to forgive because I felt that I just always had the sense like you're going to do it again. But now it's more so like you have to give that person, another chance. And if they show you, you know, hey, I'm still doing the same thing, to walk away from the situation. But I like to think of, well, at least now I like to think of forgiveness as the end of a cycle, the beginning of a new thing.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
where do I go from there? Um, I just, I've just always just kind of been a forgiving person. That's just kind of I guess um, a good thing and a bad thing, I guess, for me, because I always try to give a person the benefit of the doubt because you just never know. So, um, whether you do me wrong or not, I feel like, you know, at that particular time, like the reason, whether it's good or bad, like something in turn will come out differently for me because of what you did. And then later down the road, you will see your mistake and then it'll come back around and you will have to come back and like apologize to me for your wrongdoing, which that always tends to happen. And then it takes me to be like, well, do I want to receive now that you see what you have done? And then I have to be like, hmm. And most times I do receive it. And then sometimes I'm like, well, now do I don't feel like I want to. And then it takes me time to be like, I can't be like that because now you're at the point now where you see that you were wrong for what you did. So now you're seeking my forgiveness. So I want to give you that. Like you knew that it took you time to get here. So now I'm allowing to give you this back. So, you know, sometimes everybody aren't where they need you to be at that time. So.
Right. Right. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
do that.
And actually, our next question was that uh, I skipped accidentally. Are you a forgiving person?
I feel like I'm a forgiving person to a certain point. Like, obviously, if somebody does me wrong, I'm gonna forgive them eventually. Like, because it doesn't, you don't just forgive somebody overnight because you still got to process whatever happened. You got to assess it, you got to analyze it, and then you got to come to peace with it, which is forgiveness. But I feel like there's also a difference between you can forgive someone, but you can also be smart about like if you put yourself in a situation again. Like if I know, like say I'm in a relationship and somebody cheats on me, I can forgive them for the cheating, but I'm not gonna get back with them or anything because just because I forgive them, I'm gonna be smart. But like, you know what? I forgive you for me. I've come to peace with what you did. I'm forgiving you for you, so I'm not angry at you no more. But I'm not gonna put myself in a situation again because I know what you're capable of. So it's like I can forgive the person, but I can also make a decision whether to move forward in life with them, whether it's friendship or relationship or anything that happens, or whether I want to just move on with my life myself and not include them.
Mhm. Yeah, that one hit home. I feel as if I am a forgiving person, but it's to an extent. I'll forgive you and I'll love you unconditionally, but if you aren't benefiting me in a positive way or just not helping me evolve, then I'll love you from afar, from a distance. Um, hmm. Trying to think. It's just like what Jeremiah said, you know what that person is capable of. So if I don't really see a change internally, then that's where it comes to loving you from a distance. But if I do see some kind of growth or some kind of perspective change, then okay, maybe we can work something out the next go around. So yeah,
Mhm.
what's happening?
Um, I, I pretty much said that in my last statement. Jesus, I was trying to think.
Yeah.
I pretty much said, like at first I wasn't really that much of a forgiving person, and now things have changed. My perspective on things have been changing, and so yeah, I could say now I'm pretty forgiving because it helps internally, knowing that like I can just let go of the situation, and even though it still takes time to completely heal, because things take time. Some things, you can get over it faster than others, but um, you know, I try to remember that not everyone is going to do the same thing, and remember that everyone messes up, and we all have a chance to make it work the next time.
Right.
Because we're all human at the end of the day. So,
True that.
Right. Right. Preach. Our next question is, do you forgive and forget? And how does this help?
Um, I think some things you do forgive and forget depending on how serious the situation was. Like, obviously, as years go on, everything happens. A lot of things happen as you get older. You forgive people along the way, and then, like I said, depending on how serious it is, you forget what they even did because it was so long ago. It was miniature. But like, I feel like serious things, like if you had like something deep with somebody, you had a strong connection with them, and they did you wrong. If it hurts you, you're not going to forget that because there are certain types of hurt and pains that never go away. They just get smaller, and it's kind of one of those things you can't unsee or you can't forget it, but you can forgive it. You can come to peace with it and just say, I'm not upset at that no more, but I'm not going to forget what you did because it's what you did is serious. We had a deep connection. I'm always remember that. But but at the end of the day, I'm still going to forgive you.
say that. Mm-hmm. That was real.
Tyreece.
This is getting me right now. Do you have anything to say?
I mean, that was real. I'm saying it's like riding your bike and you fall off and you get like this big old scrape on your knee. Like you'll never forget falling off your bike and that big old scrape because you'll always have that scrape and like it'll get smaller and smaller, but you'll always see that scar.
It'll never completely heal.
Yeah, it'll never completely heal. So
Right.
Yeah.
ooh, child,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just
Like
things leave a mark on
forgive and forget. Yeah, forgiving and forgetting.
Yeah.
Like Jeremiah said, it depends on the situation. Okay, because I can forgive, but
yeah, I can forgive, but you might still see that person and flinch. You could be like, but we'll be good. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going.
Right.
I'm gonna keep it cute, but you be
Those flashbacks. It'll be those flashbacks. Like
right. You just see them and all of it come back. And you like,
it's like you all upset again or something. It gets to get under your skin a little bit. It's like
right, let me come back to earth.
For real. They're like, you thirsty? Yeah, you think I want something?
You think
I
I
would
need some
rather
now?
just die instead of drink some water.
But I forgive you. But I don't want your water.
Right. I don't trust you or your water.
That was funny. So why is it hard to forgive?
I'm gonna speak for me because it is hard for me to forgive because, like I said earlier, I just have that thought. You might do it again. Like you might do it again, depending on the situation. But it's just that you might do it again. And that has a lot to do with the past, and with doing your spiritual journey and working on yourself, you have to heal the wounded child. So
Speak.
okay, but yes, you
Misspeaking.
gotta heal the wounded child, and it's hard to do that. That's why I think it's hard.
Boy, I
Your
tell you.
Spiritual advisor said yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is the sage?
The Palo Santo. Bring it out.
No, Jesus.
No.
Bring it out.
And that's why Black people journaling, therapy, these outlets, it is a must. Because busting the windows out the car, burning your shit, shooting your ass is real if you do not handle them feelings correctly. So write it down, talk to somebody. I'm just
It can drive you crazy.
Figure it out.
yes.
I think for me, like forgiveness, I feel like it just I used to, like I said, I used to struggle with forgiveness because it's like a violation to your trust and to who you are as a person, because it's like, how could you do something to me? I would never do that to you,
Man.
Which is why it's like, it's hard. It's hard to
fuck they shit up, right?
Right. It's like, how can I lie? How could you lie
I'm
to me?
sorry. She must have fucked some shit up or something.
Something.
Talk about fucking shit up.
Come back to Earth, Ebony. Come back. But,
You good?
but yeah, it's just like it's hard to forgive people that do things to you that you wouldn't do to them, and that you've proven that you wouldn't do to them time after time. And it's like, like they take advantage of you because they know you wouldn't do it to them, so they think it gives them an opportunity to do it to you because they know you wouldn't do it to them. And it's like, it's hard to forget those certain things because you just can't, like, it's like, it's hard, like, it's like, okay, I have to, like, in a spiritual sense, like, because I believe in God, and God says we have to forgive people. And it's like, and it says forgive your enemy. And it's like, when you think about the word enemy, that means like somebody who is just, that you just dislike strongly, almost like if you were to hate them, and it's like, how can I do that? But it's like, you have to find a way to do that. Don't forget what they did, because if you forget, then that would be dumb of you. But you have to forgive that person and then move on to the next stage in your life. Don't let what they did hold you back, which I think is the hardest lesson people have to learn.
Yes, I like that. I like that. And as you were saying that, I was thinking, and I'm like, you have to forgive the action, but never forget the feeling.
Right.
Right. And if we're speaking on a more deeper spiritual level, I also believe in karma, and I can relate.
I love that mofo.
I can relate to karma very much so. It could get deeper than that. Your past life on that karmic debt. Like, you never know what you did in your past life. So the things that are happening to you in this lifetime could be from your past life, something that you did to somebody in your past life. And it's kind of hard at the same time, but it's like, okay, I need to forgive you to learn this lesson. I need to learn this lesson and grow from it, so I can get these blessings that I am manifesting. or that I desire, or whatever, So that's how I look at it.
But
But forgiving
that's
is
a
hard.
karma's a funny thing because it's like that's why I take pride in always doing the right thing or being gracious to people or just being good to people because you never know when karma's gonna hit you. Like if I'm dishing out negative energy to people, I can get that same negative energy. You never know if I'm gonna get it the next day, 10 years later, maybe even 50 years later. But I'm gonna get what I dished out any point in life, just as well as I can get any blessing any point in life. Because if I'm a good person, I may be receiving negative energy back, but when the time is right, the blessings will come right on time. It doesn't matter if I'm 30 years later, 50 years later, it will come just like karma does, just like blessings do.
I've been good. I've been making sure I've been good to everybody.
No, like,
I've been making sure I
what
pay
a
my
play
dues.
Go to this.
On a nice list.
Go to this man.
Right.
I mean, I don't even go to church, so.
Okay.
Well, if you start
What?
one, I'm a.
Huh? You
First,
said if I start one?
Pastor
I'm
Jeremiah.
saying I'm gonna be
Pastor
that
Jeremiah.
Pastor Jeremiah.
I'm
You
dead.
gonna lay them whole hands.
I am delivered.
Y'all funny.
Delivered.
I'm gonna be ghetto. I'm gonna have like a whole bathrobe on and thinking that's my preacher robe.
They say come as you are.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
like, we got a robe. I just got out the shower like 2 hours ago.
Yep. But we are going to get into quote of the hour. That's our yep. That is our little sound effect. We're gonna get those sound effects in soon, sooner or later. We are. But our quote is actions prove who someone is, words prove who they want to be. Now, what we do is we give our opinions on how that certain quote makes us feel, or if we have anything to share about it.
Wait, so it said actions prove who someone is and words prove who they want to be.
Yes.
Okay. Based off my personal experiences, I feel like part of that is true from the actions prove who someone is because like it's just the word parts, the words part is what I'm having a hard time with because a lot of people in my life have said like millions of things and have not acted upon it. I feel like if you say something, you have to act upon it, and that will show who you are. I feel like your words and your actions show who you are, and who you want to be, because your actions will show what you're working towards, and what you say will kind of like line it up. Like I can say, like I'm using your preacher for example. I can say all day long, I want to be a preacher. So yeah, that shows who I want to be, but my actions have to match up with that, So, but sometimes I can say it all day long. Like this another example. I can say I love a person, but if I don't show my actions to back it up, as if like to show how much I love them or show that I actually do love them, then my words meant nothing, Like I'm just talking at that point, But like I said, having a hard time with the action show who you want to be because there's a lot of people that say things that don't even mean it, So I feel like if you genuinely mean it and your actions are working towards it, then yeah, that's true. But I feel like actions do show who you are, but the words that your actions have to back it up.
Yeah, he hit every Dots.
Right?
He just
Yes.
pinned
Use
everything.
all the examples.
I
Like,
know.
gave all the steps.
All
I
the
mean, because
specs.
I like the quote that actions speak louder than words. So, I mean, there's no point to be doing all of this talking and
Mm.
then you not showing me nothing. That's just a waste of everybody's time and energy. So,
Yes.
let's not waste somebody's time if you're not going to put in the work. So,
Mhm.
Oh.
it's like a Jedi mind trick to make me think you're going to do this, say this, but you ain't going to do nothing about it. Like, so.
True. Tyrese, it's your turn, sir. Unless you want to say something about the
Oh,
question.
does anybody else have anything to say before we move on?
Oh,
They hit all the bullet
No?
points.
Right. All right. So the next topic we have is based upon fear. Now, the Google definition is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. So, personal definitions upon the word fear. Ooh. Clouds.
I gotta think about that real quick. I know what I want to say, but I gotta formulate it in my head.
um, fear. Okay. I'm gonna say, for me, fear is looked upon as something that can overpower you if you let it. You know, fear is looked upon something that can overpower you if you let it. Um, but it's it's weird saying this. Fear is nothing to be really scared of, but then it's kind of like there's some stuff to be fearful of for
yeah,
like the
like
protection.
clowns. That's what I said.
Girl, that's a people.
She said clowns. You don't like them
No,
clowns.
she really doesn't like clouds or
And
balloons.
balloons.
And balloons. Oh, okay.
Like the helium ones.
Mm.
Yeah.
I feel like fear is something that it can lead to many different things. Like fear is in the middle of a lot of things. Like if I'm afraid, I feel like fear is a valid emotion or it's a valid feeling. It's an appropriate feeling because everyone's afraid at some point. But at one half, a fear can lead to bravery and courage and you can overcome things because of fear. Because how do you know you're courageous if you aren't afraid at first? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna use myself as an example. Like I was afraid of the adult life, at first, but without that fear of being an adult, I never would have took the courage to take the step to go out and get a job, to go out and seek a car and stuff like that. Now I'm paying rent, everything like that. Like, but now that I'm in it, I'm not as afraid of it anymore. I've overcome that fear. Now I'm used to everything. But fear can also lead to doubt, depression, stress. It could lead to many different negative things. So I think it all depends on how you deal with fear, because you can either back down from your fears or you can overcome your fears. So I feel like fear is one of those things where you have to train your mind to overcome it, and then believe in yourself that you can overcome it.
Perfect.
I'm saying again, do thumbs up.
Bullseye.
What can I say?
No, I was just like, what can I really say after that?
Right. I was like, you know what? There's that. So
I believe fear is
Next
what you
on the
make it
docket.
also.
right. Does anyone have anything to say?
No, I agree. Fear is like a driving force because for me myself, fear has pushed me to do a lot of things. Like a lot of my friends and peers have always looked at me as, I mean, crazy because I mean, shit, I've done a lot of crazy things in my life, but I have kind of done risky things, but I've also done it out of fear because it's something unknown, which is crazy because I can't convince my behind to get on a roller coaster, but I can convince myself to quit a job to work on the other side of the world for something that I know nothing about, or I can convince myself to sell all of my furniture and move across the world, or I can do all of these random things out of fear, but then I can't be around a clown. So it's just weird things that fear can force you to do and push yourself to places that you didn't think that you could do or
Yeah,
go.
I like that because me personally, I'm not really well with a lot of people being around me because I'm mainly by myself.
Yes.
So like 2 3 people, that's like it's like comfortable, But like when there's over that amount, it's kind of like okay, it's a lot of energies in there. Just bouncing off of each other, but like trying to but I usually let the fear get a hold of me, and then I end up somewhere in a corner because I'm like, I just better go home. But but now, like at least trying to actually be in the fear and try to maneuver around it in a way, and not so much run from it. Try to go towards it. And I like what you said. I like what you said about you like doing things out of fear because you don't, it's the fear of the unknown. You don't know how it's gonna, play out, and I like that. I like
I feel like also what you said about how when you like you never would have known what you're capable of with fear. I feel like overcoming fears, it opens up opportunities and opens up doors for you later in life, because if you don't know what you're capable of, then you won't know when that obstacle comes back around later in life. If you don't overcome your fear, you're not going to know how to deal with it. So like once you've overcome that fear, when it comes back around later in life, it's going to be a breeze because you've already overcame it. So you know how to keep overcoming it every single time it comes back around. So you're not afraid of it anymore.
Right. No regrets.
Oh my God.
No,
I was like, wait, what?
the life motto.
I was like, regrets. What is that?
That's new. Never heard of that before.
That's new.
Is that a new trend?
I was like, okay, making up words. All right. Where'd he go? Take a sip of my vodka.
Well, that's water.
No, it's water.
That's the greatest of podcast water. We're gonna be selling it.
Right.
Help us start up.
So we're gonna start the question. So, all right. Excuse me. Do you fear failure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Back then, I used to. Now, since I'm elevating my consciousness day by day, I know that failure is only leading to winning, if that makes sense. It leads to success. You have to fall to get back up again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you definitely have to fall. You're going to fall your whole life, but you're definitely going to get back up. You are definitely going to get back up.
Right.
But
Right.
that's what I would say. I feel as if you attract fear. So if you fear failure, and if you just think about it in that aspect, you're going to attract failure. But in the back of your mind, you can say affirmations saying that I may lose some, but it's always a gain in the end. It's just like ending cycles. You end the cycle to start a new beginning.
There it
Yes.
goes.
Yes. And like with fear, it's like, um, do I okay. Okay. Failure, listen. I it's iffy. I'm learning not to fear failure, But what I'm learning to how to think about failure is if you're going to fear climbing this mountain, you just may never climb it. But if you climb that mountain, you get to the top, then there's more mountains, and you're like, I can go climb these mountains too. Like, I'm gonna go climb this mountain, and then you just keep climbing and climbing and climbing, and then it's nothing to really fear in the beginning. Now you could fear, your fear could come to life. You probably could go up that mountain and then like you slip or something, but like Mia said, you're gonna have to fall to get back up because when you slip, you're gonna be like, either I may not go do this again, or you're gonna be like, I can do it. I just slipped that time, but I know to be careful.
Right.
So,
I feel like if you fear failure, it's gonna hold you back from being great because I feel like failure is part of the process of success, and you have to know what it's like to lose or to fail in order to strive for greatness. Like I can, it's like trial and error. And the first word of trial and error is trial. That means try. And if I'm afraid to fail, failure is a possible result when you try. So if I'm afraid to fail, then I'll never try because I don't want to see that result. You know, it's like, it's like, what can I say? Oh, okay. Like you said, climbing a mountain, failure to climb the mountain or to not make it all the way to the top is part of the process. But when I fail, it's going to motivate me to keep going until I succeed. And then within that is going to make you stronger. It's going to make you motivated. It's going to inspire you and inspire others because others will not see you give up so easily just because you failed. And so not being afraid to fail, I feel like it opens up a lot of good things. But if you fear failure, you're closing yourself off to an entire world of success and an entire world of being great if you're afraid to fail.
I feel that. And I feel like you were talking to me, and you know what? I receive it. I receive it. I receive it because I have started my business 3 times because I have moved 3 times to 3 different states. So, and I have had naysayers in each state. And I'm like, okay, each time I have to start over, I have to start over bigger and better every time I do it because somebody always has something to say every time I do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like that's always going to be something for somebody too. Like you're going to always have somebody in the background that's always going to be somewhere saying this, that, and the third to try to
Yeah.
knock you off your game. So it's always a lot of negativity and demons to try to make you not stay, on the course. So, sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that skews your vision. Sometimes it knocks you off track. And sometimes you could be off track for a while. But you have to look at yourself in the mirror and get back on track. But as long as you get back on track and stay on course, but sometimes it's hard. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
the fear gets to you, but I'm just saying. I've started over a couple of times because of the voices, but I I've done it several times. I'm just it's
Honestly, naysayers are literally just people who doubt you because they don't know what you're capable of. As long as you know what you're capable of, and that's all you need. You know what you're capable of. You know what you can do. So whether those doubters and those haters and naysayers say what they want to say, because they're going to say what they want to say regardless. As long as you know what you're capable of, all you got to do is focus on what you need to do and what you want to do. Those voices in your head get to a point where they're just little tiny chirps. That's all it has to be, because that's all it is. They're trying to reach at you. And you just got to get to a point where it's like, okay, well, I know what I'm capable of, so F off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He finna start this ministry when we get out.
Okay.
He finna
No,
go.
for real. We have a church with me.
He finna start that GoFundMe. Let me go ahead and find $20 to put in this.
And they also lack purpose, because if you know your purpose in life and they can't simply find their purpose, maybe they're putting upon their negativity on you, because you know your purpose, you know what you want to do in life. They might just be lost right now. They might not, see their life being as successful as yours. But you always send them positivity either way.
Okay, period.
Because that could flourish them in a sense or in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Does anyone else have anything to say before we move on?
No, sir.
Okay. So the next question: how do you overcome fear? Knowing that it takes time. That's for one. I would definitely say that. Uh,
I will say, for me, on a spiritual sense, I pray about it, because, in my opinion, the only person that can help me get over that fear and equip me with the tools to get over that fear is God. But on a personal sense, like for myself, I get over fear by, regardless if I believe it yet, I just keep telling myself I can overcome it, or I'm bigger than that fear, because regardless of whatever you're afraid of, that's just what it is. It's a feeling, it's not real. And when you know that fear is not real, it's all in your head, and it's this feeling that is just anticipation of what you think is going to happen. That's why you're afraid of it. And once I can take the anticipation away and just tackle it, not knowing that the results can go either way, then I'm fine. It's like when you go in a game, the results can go either way. Either you win or you lose, but you'll never know unless you play the game, So it's like, if I'm too afraid to find out the results, then I'm not going to ever be great and play the game, So I just tell myself I can do it. I'm bigger than this fear. I got this. Even if I don't believe it, I keep telling myself until I believe it.
Also staying in the present moment and saying those affirmations to you, like Jeremiah said, saying affirmations like, I can overcome this fear, I will overcome this fear. It's just a day by day process. Saying positive things to yourself in general every day can build up to 1,000,000 positive things one day, and you have so much positivity about yourself because you started that one day. Okay, I'm going to overcome this fear. And also doing something out of your comfort zone, doing things out of your comfort zone that you usually don't do. Like, sometimes I'm going to get back into it. I take a cold shower, maybe once a week. And so I'm going to start getting into that. After you take a cold shower, you have so much energy, you feel good, you feel light. And so that's something that I'm going to get back into. Yeah. But that's something that I think.
I didn't even know nothing about that.
Yeah, cold showers. If you look it up, the benefits of cold showers, it really helps you. I always be putting Tyreese on. Yeah,
No, for real.
I used to take cold showers, and after,
I mean, because that just gave me chill bumps. I was like,
yeah, yeah, after it, but you're
My
gonna
feet
feel
just got
so
cold.
great. Yeah,
You a nigga.
hey, yeah, it
I
is
tried it. I was like,
cold. I can't lie. Yeah, but it does help a
I'm all
lot.
in there
You're
dodging the
gonna,
water.
yeah.
No, for real, you be like,
Yeah. Where the hot water at? Like,
Yeah,
is it turned off or something?
yeah, cold
Ooh,
showers
sweet.
help a lot.
um, how do you
I have to get back to having those talks in the mirror with myself again and meditating and being like, bitch, this is where we are right now. Bitch, this is where we're going to go. This is what we need to do. Have a good motherfucking day. This.
Period. Oh. It's straight up like that.
How do you overcome fear? That's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. I'm a go deep. Now, we can go back to forgiveness. There we go. We can go back to forgiveness with this one. Fear of fear of the unknown. That plays a big role. And the reason why I brought up forgiveness is because there's fear in the forgiving process because one, you don't know what's going to happen. Fear of unknown. You don't know if they're going to do it again. Mm-hmm. But in order to overcome that fear or know the outcome, you have to kind of give it a try. Mm-hmm. and see, which is why you forgive that person to see if it could change. Maybe the things could work out. Maybe they have changed. But then also knowing that sometimes you just be like, yeah, damn, I was right. You weren't the one. Like, you just had to be the one to do it to me. Like, dang, that sucks. But overcoming it, it's a process. It's definitely a process. It's not easy. It's nothing you can do overnight because it takes a while. It takes a while. But each day, I guess, talking to yourself, telling yourself, you got this, or trusting in that higher power or person or whatever, that you got me. I have someone to fall back on, or knowing that if something does happen, I can get back up. Mm-hmm. At least think of it like that instead of just thinking about the fear itself. Mm-hmm. All the woulda, coulda, shouldas, mm-hmm. Whatever. I couldn't say the word. But yeah, that right there. So we have this next question. It's gonna get pretty deep, okay?
It's getting deeper and deeper.
Right, it's pretty deep. So, what do you fear?
Shit.
Honestly, I'm going to say I fear losing myself from this. I wouldn't say, okay, that's just, I'm being biased. It's just, I just said I don't fear anything, but I just said I fear losing myself. So of course I fear some things, like spiders and bugs, like, yeah, that's
it's the spiders for me.
Yeah, it's the spiders for me. For sure. Like, you can miss me with that.
Right. You can have a house.
Yeah. You can take
The
it.
whole house.
Yeah, the whole house. You won. You won.
Right.
But
Middle of the night, just pack it up.
yeah.
I'll evict myself.
Clothes, the
Yeah.
shoes, the milk.
Best friend, I'm coming over.
Shoes.
Like,
Here's the house key.
yep. You need the car keys too? Well,
Right.
nah.
Because I ain't coming back till you dead.
I'm not coming back in. No, okay. You can have everything. It's all yours.
For real. I do fear losing myself just from a certain situation or just by somebody, I should say. Because I've worked so hard to get to this point, and it's easier said than done. Oh my God, it is easier said than done to just get to this zenfulness and this peacefulness that I'm afraid to lose all of this because of just something so small, or I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I would say that.
Hmm.
But I'm working on it every day.
Well, I'm going to say that is a real thing to be afraid of because number A, it can
Number
real
A.
easily happen. Yeah,
Number eight.
number A, it can happen because it has happened to me and it takes time to get it back. And number B, once you do get it back, believe me, you will never lose that motherfucker again. But number C. So what I am afraid of, besides clowns and balloons, I
Balloons?
think my greatest fear is probably being alone. I think that is probably my greatest fear.
See, that's kind of like what you mean by like being alone? Like
I was gonna say why.
relationship wise or
Like
literally like alone?
like yeah, like not married or like just wake up one day and just like have like a career, money, but officially no husband. Tamir's grown and it's like F Ebony and you're like in Hollywood somewhere and you're like, what's up, bitch? I'm good and we don't need me no more. You know, like that. So yeah,
I'm
like,
dead.
like everybody's doing it. I'm just like,
Great.
right.
That's great. Cool. All right.
Everybody's happy and I'm just here.
Am I not
Done my job, I guess.
okay, I have actually thought about that. When I was younger, I used to think about that. I'm having a question about how old I was. Crazy time as a child, but yeah, I used to think like, will I be alone? And then like 7,000 letters later, it was kind of like okay, but my fear kind of I have a lot of fears. There's a couple, not that serious, really. Like obviously bugs. I don't like bugs, wild animals. I'm like, I'm good. If I see a snake, I am out. Like I don't put that shit around my neck.
Dip the scene
But
quick.
right, like no. Technology, little stuff like that. But but something I really, really, really fear, I would have to say, knowing that watching everything just fall to pieces and there's nothing I could do about it. That's my biggest fear. Like just watching it all fall, and there's nothing I can do to get it back up. That's my
Mm.
biggest fear. And I've watched it happen before. And like there was still stuff I could control, but just like I don't like that feeling. Just watching everything you've tried so hard for, you've worked so hard for, all those sleepless nights and early mornings, and then it just like goes down the drain. It's like, oh, sheesh. But that's my biggest fear. Oof.
I think for me, my biggest fear is not like not being able is not being a good father in the future or a good husband in the future. Because
Yeah, say that shit.
for
Come
me,
on,
I didn't have a good example of what a father should be, or what a father does for his child or what he does for his wife and stuff like that, whether it's in a home setting or in an everyday life setting, in public, in the world and stuff like that. So for me, it's basically I'm just kind of winging it. Like I have an example of what a mother should be and what a good woman should be towards her man, but I don't have a good example of what a father and a husband should be towards the people he loves, if that makes sense. So my fear is winging it and doing what I know, what I believe is right, and hoping that it is right, because we can really do is hope for the best of our actions, believing we're doing the right thing. So that's my biggest fear, to be honest.
now that's some real shit right there. I agree.
Yeah,
Do you watch a Yola Fix My Life? Because that right there.
I've seen it before, but I couldn't get into it.
Um,
My
I only
mom
watched a
watched
little
that
bit.
show all the time.
I'll be right there, be like, yes, a Yola with some tea.
To like fix my life. Sure.
Period.
Does anyone have anything else to say?
No, it's
This was so
9:22.
amazing. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Of course. You're welcome anytime.
No problem.
If you ever have a topic to talk about, just hit Mia Tyreece up and be like, I got something to say.
And let's do it. And we
Let's
also
do
have
it.
rant sessions too sometimes. We just
Yeah.
talk about whatever.
Yeah, we just
Like
Go what?
whatever. So
we
y'all
got
can join
rant
in.
sessions.
Oh,
Yeah, we just be going off.
I,
Oh, because I can write.
I might be attending.
I just go and go and go and go.
Yep.
No, for real. But okay, so we have another question. Do we create our own fears? Oh.
Shoot.
Yes, we do. I feel yes, we do.
It's
Somebody
two
go first.
sides. What were you saying?
I said somebody go first.
I thought I was going. No, go ahead.
I feel that it's two-sided. We can create our own fears, but well then yeah, I guess we do create our own fears because I was gonna say like you also have it's also what people tell you, but then you also have to listen, able to like listen and believe. So that is you kind of creating your own fear, making that fear come to life. Because people, like Jeremiah said, people are gonna say what they say, but it's up to you whether or not you're gonna really believe those fears, or if you're gonna just let them be, the little random things that happen. Like, like when you're relaxing. And that's crazy because it usually hits you when you are real, like when you really are like chilling on some shit, like you just like, oh, like I'm vibing, and the next thing you know, it's just like there's that fear or whatever just creeping up from the back, and then you can either choose to listen to it or just keep on walking. Like or maybe you could just get on up out of it. But yeah, I guess choosing to listen to it.
I actually do
I
want to
mean,
reflect
yeah.
on that because I'll go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I felt like you finna flow. Go
Right,
ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
See, Flo?
No, I was gonna say I want to reflect on what Ty said because he said how like people they say what they're gonna say, and I feel like that was a good lesson for me to learn because I don't know if you guys watch sports or not, but I used to referee basketball last year, and one thing they teach you is that 50% of the crowd is going to agree with what the call you make, and the other 50% is always going to be upset at the call you make. It's all about what side you're benefiting. If you're benefiting that side, they're going to be happy. If you're not benefiting that side, they're going to be upset. And I feel like that's the same with life. There's going to be a lot of haters, and I think it's important to just whatever you do, as long as you're happy with it, that's all that matters because there's always going to be 50% of the people kissing your ass because whatever you do is benefiting them. They're gonna be happy. They're gonna be okay. They're gonna kiss your ass. But then once you're doing something for the other 50% that is not benefiting them, they're gonna hate on you. They're gonna have something to say, whether it's necessary or not. They're always gonna have their opinions. But if you do it for the sole purpose of you, regardless if they're singing your praises or if they're hating on you or feeding you negativity, none of that's going to matter because as long as when you're going to be happy with what you do, then that's all that really matters to you. You accomplish what you set out to do because you're happy with it. You're pleased. You're content with whatever you did, So I feel like that for me helped me realize that because I was always doubting myself based off of what other people's told me, or I was always happy based off what other people told me. But then I realized even the people that are singing your praises, they're going to say whatever they're going to say because what you're doing is benefiting them.
What Jeremiah said.
Agreed. Yes.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, I really agree with Jeremiah.
Cut the words right out.
Yeah.
I'm dead. No plagiarism.
I second that.
I third that.
Anybody else have anything to say?
No, thanks. Jared pretty much got that one.
Yeah. That was his question.
Right, to be honest. Okay, so then let's get to the next one. How can fear stop you from your truth?
I feel as if fear stops you from your truth based on your environment, the people that you surround yourself with.
Yes. You better
And
speak it.
yes, it really does. Because I come from a traditional family on my father's side, and their beliefs and views, it is hard on other people that think in a different way from them to be their self, I guess you can say, towards my family, because they're very judgmental. So I can see how fear can stop you from speaking your truth, but at the same time you have to think about it. Fuck what anybody gotta say. You are you. Be yourself regardless of what they gotta say or what their belief is on that, whatever that certain subject.
Yeah, and to bounce off of that, it's like it's kind of like sometimes some things are better left unsaid too. You don't always
That
have
part.
to say you don't always have to tell everybody everything because
Move in silence.
yeah, I've heard that a lot. Like you don't
Mhm.
always have to tell people, if you don't feel that comfortable with telling them, why even think about wasting your time or energy on trying to explain how you feel sometimes on certain subjects or certain things that there's going to be some type of conflict about, like just letting that go. But,
Yeah.
um, you know, I forgot the question. Oh yeah, but with with fear, it can stop you from your truth because you you're afraid, like you're afraid of the outcome. Like that's how I think of it. Like I'm always worried about the outcome. I don't
Right.
know how it's going to play out. That's what stops me. And then it's like,
You can't allow it to punk you.
mm-hmm.
So, and I like, you have to surround yourself with positive people. There's this, what is this thing about, like, have people around you that's going to fill your cup. And I had to learn the hard way that if you don't have somebody filling your cup, but you have people constantly taking from you, then you're gonna always feel depleted. Like so like you're never going to be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So it's like all your fears that you have, like you go on to them saying, like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And they're like, oh, you ain't going to be able to do that. You ain't got time for this. It's like constantly taken out of your cup. Like, how are you ever going to get somewhere if like everyone's telling you, you can't, you can't, you can't? Like, you got to get away from that and be around people who's going to be constantly like encouraging you to go towards what it is that you want to do, or get away from it completely and be your own cup filler to be able to go and do what you need to do.
Right.
Like find what's gonna fill your cup if ain't nobody
Right.
else.
Hmm.
Just go shopping. It's time to go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Find some new from something else. Ain't got none of that food for less. Fine. Go on to Superior. It's fine.
That juice isn't
Figure it
All
Trader
out.
right.
Joe's.
7-Eleven.
That
Oh,
juice
good.
was not.
Water.
That juice.
Shoot.
No, but I want to say two things. So first, I want to reflect off of what Mia said about speaking your truth and stuff like that. Like, well, actually, both of what Ty and Mia said, that you can always speak your truth, but also there's things that can be left unsaid. And with that, I feel like that's true. But you can also there's it's always a choice, you know. As long as you're confident in speaking your truth, you can make that choice whether you don't want to say anything at all or you do want to say something. But as long as you don't let anybody stop you from speaking your truth, I feel like that's all that matters, because this world is filled with people that try to stop you from saying your opinion or saying how you feel or speaking your truth. But that's why it's important you don't let anybody do that, because if you do, then they're going to stop you from a lot of things. And so, like you said, there's things that could be left that you don't have to say, that you can choose not to say. But at the end of the day, it's always a choice. You know, as long as you make sure you have that valid choice, then that's what matters. But as far as fear stopping your truth, I feel like it's all in how you perceive the fear. If you perceive it as an opportunity to overcome something or as a challenge, then good. But if you perceive it as a hindrance or a roadblock or something that is stopping you, then I think that's where the disconnect will come, because fear is really an opportunity. That's what it is, because it's a challenge. You should accept the challenge. Challenges make you stronger. Challenges improve areas and where you lack. And you can learn from challenges. So if you perceive the fear as an opportunity in a challenge, then positive things will come from it. But if you perceive it as something that's in your way or something that is defeating you, then you're gonna have a negative result.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, but yeah, I like that. I like that. Sorry, I got distracted a little bit. I like what you said. I was listening. I was there. With you. Does anyone have anything?
No, everybody.
No. Okay. Well, I would like to say once again, thank you guys for coming and helping us out
Yes,
here,
thank
speaking
you.
your
It
truth.
was an honor.
You know,
It
thank you
was a
so
pleasure.
much. We enjoyed.
It was so awesome.
Thank you.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna have my blue cup next time. Yeah, my blue cup.
I got mine.
yeah.
Yes.
But we are at the end of our podcast.
Good.
Um,
It's great.
we are sending everybody peace, love, and abundance. Actually, do you guys have any just any random thoughts you want to say or advice you want to give to the people? They having a little conversation, but if you guys want to say any advice out there to the people, um, I would like to say keep chasing your dreams, keep following your dreams, keep being you 100%. Nobody can't stop you but yourself. Okay, so don't be in your own way. Just do it.
It is. And then while we are following, be sure to follow Emily Did It _ Emily Did It on IG. I'm gonna throw out my little sponsorship for the greater was our greater self? Our greatest self.
It's okay.
My new page will be up next year for personal styling. So it is emilydiditworld.com when you guys get a chance. I mean, it is still up now, but the new page will be up next year.
Okay.
And again, the page is _ Emily Did It.
Okay. Tyreece, send me that information so we can put it on the page.
I'm saving her IG and stuff.
Okay.
Y'all got my IG right, so.
Okay.
But but yeah, I just want to say I know 2020 has been a eventful and trying year, but I just want to encourage people to always be positive. And I know it's hard to stay positive, but making a negative situation into a positive situation is a valuable thing because positivity, it'll help you see the light in the darkness, because light can easily be covered in darkness, but positivity, it will allow you to see things that you didn't see before. And so yeah. Yeah, just be positive.
Be positive. Yes.
Yeah.
Click. That's
You're
feeling
welcome.
that. Be positive, and because what you put out is what you receive.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. But we are sending y'all peace, love, and abundance. Again, thank you for joining our podcast of the second season. Whoa, whoa.
You know,
We gonna, like I said, we gonna work on those sound effects. I promise you.
We gonna get it.
The viewers, the listeners gonna be like, what the heck?
Right? They're gonna be like, oh, they did it. Exactly.
Right.
I'm like, whoop.
Right?
But
yes, we are going to close out now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And we're out.
we're going to see y'all on the next episode. Y'all.